Scientists have spent decades figuring out what is causing global warming. They've looked at the natural cycles and events that are known to influence climate, but the amount and pattern of warming that's been measured cannot be explained by these factors alone. The only way to explain the pattern is to include the effect of greenhouse gases emitted by humans. To bring all this information together, the United Nations formed a group of scientists called Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC. The IPCC meets every few years to review the latest scientific findings and write a report summarizing all that is known about global warming. Each report represents a consensus or agreement among hundreds of leading scientists. One of the first things scientists learned is that there are several greenhouse gases responsible for warming, and humans emit them in a variety of ways. Most come from the combustion of fossil fuels in cars, factories, and electricity productions. The gas responsible for the most warming is carbon dioxide. Other contributors include methane, released from landfills and agriculture, nitrous oxide from fertilizers, gases used for refrigeration and industrial processes, and the loss of forests that would otherwise store carbon dioxide. Different greenhouse gases have very different heat trapping abilities. Some of them can even trap more heat than carbon dioxide. A molecule of methane produces more than 20 times the warming of a molecule of carbon dioxide. Nitrous oxide is 300 times more powerful than carbon dioxide. Other gases, such as chlorofluorocarbon, have heat trapping potential thousands of times greater than carbon dioxide. But because their concentrations are more lower than carbon dioxide, none of these gases adds as much warmth to the atmosphere as carbon dioxide does.
Global warming is not to be taken lightly. It will definitely affect everyone in the society in one way or another. Therefore, governments throughout the world have been coming up with different measures to tackle this issue. Do you know what's the Kyoto Protocol? It's actually a treaty that is set up by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. This treaty is to achieve stabilization in greenhouse gases. Also in the US alone, hundreds of cities have also joined in the Cool Cities Act. This act is also aimed to reduce global warming. In February 2007, 376 mayors in the US also accepted the challenge of stopping climate disruption. In New Zealand, they also came out with the Climate Change Response Act as part of a plans to stop climate change. Therefore, I can conclude that if governments themselves try to stop the problem of global warming, it is definitely not enough. Individuals like us should also try our best to stop global warming.
Effects of global warming. Global warming can have an impact on our natural system. For instance, an increase in global temperature will cause sea levels to rise and change the amount and pattern of precipitation and probable expansion of subtropical deserts. Warming is expected to be the strongest in the Arctic and will be associated with continuing retreat of glaciers, permafrost, and sea ice. Other likely effects of the warming include more frequent occurrence of extreme weather events including heat waves, droughts, heavy rainfall, and species extinctions due to shifting temperature regimes and changes in crop yields. Global warming can also have an impact on our ecological systems. For instance, in terrestrial ecosystems, the earlier timing of spring events and poleward and upward shifts in plant and animal ranges have been linked with high confidence to recent warming. Future climate change is expected to particularly affect certain ecosystems, including tundra, mangroves, and coral reefs. It is expected that most ecosystems will be affected by higher atmospheric CO2 levels combined with higher global temperature. Overall, it is expected that the climate change will result in the extinction of many species and reduce diversity of ecosystems. Lastly, global warming have an impact on the social systems. For example, vulnerability of human society to climate change mainly lies in the effects of extreme weather events rather than gradual climate change. Impacts of climate change so far include adverse effects on small islands, adverse effects on indigenous population in high latitude areas, and small but discernible effects on human health. Over the 21st century, climate change is likely to adversely affect hundreds of millions of people through increased coastal flooding, reductions in water supplies, increased malnutrition, and increased health impacts.
To prevent global warming, not only government and communities are responsible to deal with global warming, it can also be reduced by individual effort. First of all, we can take public transportation such as buses and trains more frequently instead of taking private transportation. By doing so, the amount of greenhouse gas such as carbon dioxide will be largely reduced as there are fewer cars running on the roads. Secondly, change a light and you help change the world. Replace the conventional bulbs in your 5 frequently used light fixture with bulbs that have the Energy Star, and you will help the environment while saving money on energy bills. For example, if every household in the US takes this one action, we would prevent greenhouse gas equivalent to the emissions from nearly 10 million cars. Last but not least, the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, are crucial for reducing global warming. The 3 R's in our lives helps conserve energy, reduces pollution and greenhouse gas emission from resource extraction, manufacturing, and disposal. To sum up, although one cannot make much contribution, the contribution of many individuals' effort will change the world. To prevent global warming, please start from ourselves.